Yeah, fantastic. The interest in modern drivers is, I mean, and it's great to see so many youngsters here at a historic event, and also being smart enough to realize this is a great opportunity. I can assure you that Roman and Tony, yeah, they'll do their job at an IndyCar weekend, but to have them in this relaxed environment where they've got time for you and to hang out with us on TV is just fantastic. So great, and hats off to all of them for being so professional, giving up their time when they can be relaxing with family, in Roman's case back in Florida, or flying his plane. As if you've got a copy of the program, you can read up on what Roman's been up to, but definitely settled into the American way of life. We're getting them one by one. Got a French ace, we've got the British ex-world champion, and they're all starting to make their way over to the States and enjoy, as I do, the American way of life and also the American way of racing. And talking of American way of racing, not only is Velocity Invitational about the past and a celebration of that past, it's also about the present and the future, as we take a look now at some hypercars out on track. And this is a big exhibition for what I would call unobtainium. We've also got some joyrides going on as well. There's, coming out of the mist, the gorilla that is the Senna Mclaren that Tony Kanaan was at the wheel of yesterday. I don't know if he's at the wheel of it again today, but that is a beauty. We've got an Apollo IE out there. That Senna is a 327 from 2019. Jerome Pohil driving the car, and like I said, though this weekend we're not surprised to see whoever shows up in it. Like I said, Tony Kanaan's driven it, and he, of course, a huge Senna fan and now part of the McLaren family. He must be tickled pink. He's just become vice president, I mean, vice principal of the Arrow McLaren for IndyCar team, and at just the right time too, because there's youngsters like Nolan Siegel, who's here this weekend as well, and Christine Lundgaard making their way, and to be able to dive into the knowledge of a man who's not only won the 500 and the series, but has been pretty much a part of the furniture at Indy for the last 20 years or so, is going to put McLaren in good health for the future, and they're racing against what has been one of the toughest fields. It's I think this is also, we talk about NASCAR being at the top of its game. IndyCar currently, I've not seen a stronger field in IndyCar or IMSA in a long time, and it really is quite a special time in motor racing. We've got a Bugatti Chiron out there, 57, 7-speed, 1,500 brake horsepower. Think about that. Ugh, unbelievable. And of course, what makes a hypercar is the fact that it's kind of unobtainium, or you basically get a blank piece of paper and draw up and design and build the best you possibly can, the fastest, the most beautiful, the most expensive. Now, you've heard of a supercar. Well, to be a hypercar, you have to be pretty much over 800 brake horsepower to start with, and most of them are limited edition, and therefore pretty much start, I would have thought, the cheapest hypercar you're going to get is probably about 800, 900,000, and that's for its basic iteration. And you can get into some pretty heavy money once you go past that. We've also got a Mercedes CLK GTR Roadster. Not all of these cars are on track. They've put the moniker of track and static, so they are displayed throughout the day here right by the pit lane, and then some of them, not all of them, go out. We've also got a Lamborghini VT, completed in December 1993, And as an Italian home market example, this was a Lamborghini Diablo VT, finished in its first current silver mist exterior. So keep an eye out for that one. And it was also driven by, of all people, Formula One champion Michael Schumacher, 7-time world champion, for Auto Build magazine back in 1994 after testing the car at the track. Not bad. Loved it. Now, here's that electric Porsche Spider. And I had a closer look at that earlier in the weekend. Beautiful car, as you'd expect. In baby blue. Don't forget, if you get a chance and you're of mind and set to do so, we are announcing next year's event, and we're getting out early, June 6th to June 8th. We want to let everybody know that is the time and place for Velocity Invitational, so we're moving it back earlier into the summer, so June 6th to June 8th, 2025. And if you get your tickets today, if you are on site, you will get a chance to get a better price. So go for that and join us here at Velocity as we take a look at the famous Gulf colors of Ford GT. We've got several GTs out there at the moment. We've got a 2024 GT Mark IV. We've got a 2006, a couple of 2005s. I'm just trying to see which one I want to tell you about. Let's have a look at that Mark IV. Yeah, that was the produced in 2024 and got on track at Road Atlanta and is one of 67 cars. That Mark IV, VIN number 13. And I think that's partly due to the fact that I think Riley and Carcraft have a bit to do with that. Look at that, beautiful. Yeah, Carcraft have been looking after some of the more modern iterations of the Carcraft Mark IV, as they're calling it, and Riley having a part in that. Yeah, we've got quite a lot of different Ford GTs out there this weekend. I want you to hear these cars as much as possible. So we've got a Zonda F Pagani out there. We've got a Harrier Roadster as well from 2017. I mentioned the Apollo IE. And that Bugatti Chiron from 2019. Now this is a similar car to what Roman Grosjean drove yesterday. This one in the Gulf colors. And if you want to get a real insight into how Ford came back to racing and took on the mighty Ferrari at Le Mans, because that was the quest back in the mid-60s, was to do that. And a lot of Californians were involved in that project. Carroll Shelby, Ken Miles, you name it. And, of course, Ford versus Ferrari, the movie. Go see it. It is a very accurate and very well-done movie, because a lot of racing movies are not. And like the film Le Mans, which also was a very good movie about racing, you really get a sense of how they went about trying to create the ultimate car to take on Ferrari. Ferrari was very, not rude, that's the wrong word, but very unsure. Like, I'm trying to think of a right word without being rude to Enzo, but he didn't think much of what was going on the other side of the pond, and he felt his cars were just superior, and he dominated. Ferrari had dominated for a long time, and so Ford said, right, all hands to the pump, let's do this. And they worked hard on it. They won at Daytona, kept developing it, kept fettling with it, and finally got a brilliant win in the hands of Chris Amon, Bruce McLaren, and in fact they even did a marketing 1, 2, 3 to try to cross the line together, but in the end it was the two Kiwis in the all-black GT40 who took victory in that 66 Le Mans. And I was very privileged to sit down for an hour with Chris Amon, whose racing career was not as successful as it should have been, to be honest, in Formula One at least. Never really won in Formula One, but came so close. But he got his glory, and he got his Le Mans win, and he also got a replica car, same color, in the black, sent to him into New Zealand, and he did drive it before he passed away, I'm glad to say, on his farm in Bulls in New Zealand. So great story, and sadly missed Chris Amon, but so too so many drivers that have gone by the wayside. And this year we will remember Parnelli Jones with great reverence, one of the greatest drivers in American history. And yesterday Tony Kanaan took his ex-Trans Am car to a podium. A bit of a surprise, to be honest. He didn't know he was going to drive it until the boss, Jeffrey O'Neill, said, hey, you take it for a spin. Qualified 13th, or it was qualified 13th, and Tony jumped in and took it up to third. And as part of these exhibitions, we've had lots of different cars. We've also had an exhibition of C and D type Jags out there. We've had a bunch of low-rider Impalas. They are based under the main grandstand. And if you are here and you haven't seen those yet, definitely worth a look down there. We've also got some, what I would call static NASCARs here. Bill Elliott's car is here. And we've also got some Pan America cars that take part in, or have taken part in, the Pan America race and rally. Back with the electric Spider from Porsche. I have to say, as you'd expect with Porsche, it's a doozy, and you can tell immediately from the front nose that it is a Porsche. And whoever's in the passenger seat is having a good time. To what? So, this is our hypercar demonstration, and it's concluding in a moment as the Porsche comes into the last complex, 11 and 12 again, gets back on the power. Beautiful. Up to fourth gear and across the line. And there's the checkered flag for our hypercars, so it's great to see them out in action. So we go from the past to the future and to the present and to the latest designs. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more from Sonoma after this.